Alright, I'm here. We vibing. Holy shit, we've actually got people here today. Ugh. I would have the Thanos mug. I think it's... I'm not sure what's in it. There's little black dots of shit in it. I think it's mold. Kinda gross. So, we've got a regular clear glass instead of the Thanos mug. Very unfortunate. Anyway, upon one of my friend's requests, we are currently... we've got a brand new Yuri visual novel to play. Because I have a problem. They're just so cute. I believe this one is about some paranormal investigators going searching in the woods before one of them moves away. So hopefully it'll be cute. Plus it's fully voice acted, so I don't have to do any of the work. Like I have to read the narration, but I don't have to do any voices. I'm very quickly going to run out of fully voiced ones, so you'll get to hear that eventually. But this game's got like 6 chapters, so it should be decently long. Without further ado, Chapter 1. A Winter Wonderland. That's how this place was pitched to us. Out in the middle of a forest with an unpronounceable name in a village that Team forgot. In the email, it sounded like every other ghost hunter's paradise that we got messaged about. Isolated and antiquated, with the tourism board encouraging hokey features, who encouraged hokey effects and gaudy billboards. The vast majority of those emails go unanswered. If Tara weren't so capricious, this one probably would have to. But no, something about journeying to the middle of nowhere for a month struck a fancy. And like always, I let myself get dragged into it. So here I am, for the last time. On board a lonely train to the village of Isenfield, Tara and Maddie sat in uncomfortable silence. Maddie had blonde hair and red glasses, and wears a green jacket. Tara was layered red. Tara has. Give me a second. I'm already having a stroke. Tara had layered red hair and black hoodie, with a t-shirt on the moon. A t-shirt of the moon. Tara is sleeping while Maddie's looking out the train. The train beats out a slow, monotonous rhythm beneath us. I should turn this down a bit. There we go. How's that? A lot better. Oh, finally teaching my name, so now this should really. Yeah. Hell yeah! Let's go. It's an older machine. The sort of thing, the sort that looks like it's supposed to make us take us to a wizarding school, or this should be in a museum. When I bought the tickets, I thought we'd get on something a bit more modern. Oops. I shifted my seat, the tattered cushions and wooden boards doing little to soothe the pain in my back. We've been on this train for 12 hours, I can feel every one of them in my bones. Tara's been out for the past 6, upright but fast asleep. If the bumpy ride bothers her, she doesn't show it. The paperback she was reading dangles low in her hand, in danger of losing her spot in the book. I scuffed my feet across the floor, kicking at nothing as tired as I am. As tired as I am, I'm afraid for her journey to end, for Tara to wake up, to have to talk to her. I'm almost offended that she can sleep. She should be as preoccupied as I am, taking off intrusive thoughts and wondering what to say. You wouldn't know from looking at her, but we've barely spoken for 3 days. That's how long ago I've told her this would be her last trip. That's how long ago I told her that this would be our last trip for the show together, and that I was quitting once we got home. Everything since then, packing, booking our tickets, finding someone to take care of the cats while we're gone, happened in a blur. We've been cordial, but that's it. My heart hurts, and it tells me I made the right decision. Yawning, I lean back against the seat and pretend it's comfortable. The cushions are unnoticeable, nearly as firm as the wooden floor beneath us. A heater in the corner hems and haws like an old man, but is not nearly powerful enough to fight off the chills. I desperately wish I could sleep too, but one of us needs to be awake when we get to the station. and that should be any minute now. Plus, I've been able to. Plus, I've never been able to fall asleep on planes or trains anyway. My eyes are sore, and I rub one of them as I press my cheek to the cold window. Outside, it may as well be another world compared to the city we left behind. If not for the moonlight, I wouldn't be able to see anything. The soft white glow makes the snow in nearby forest glisten like it's under some sort of sorcerer's spell. A winter wonderland. The trees are bare, save for the blanket of snow that covers them. Their empty branches look like something out of a kid's Halloween movie, shaking in the wind as if possessed. They seem to stretch on forever, farther than I could even see. It's more like an ocean than a forest. Morgan certainly wasn't exaggerating when she said this place was remote. Intermittent lights flicker amongst the trees in the distant darkness, which I assume comes from either winter campers or hermits. I call them crazy, but I'm about to be in the exact same position. Something catches my eye, way out in the woods. One of the trees, barely visible, seems to shake in a different way than the rest, as if blown by a different breeze. A thin layer of frost is beginning to form on the outside of the window as I push my face against it, turning to try and find whatever it was I saw. It's gone though. It was almost certainly never even there to begin with. Either my eyes were playing tricks on me or the moonlight was. I sigh and sit back again, allowing my eyes to barely close. I won't fall asleep, I'm jolted back into alertness as the train lurches harder than before. There's a shrill whistling sound, and then the shudders of the train go stronger as we begin to slow down. The driver hits the brakes, we're almost there. Tip spoots. Across from me, Tara is undisturbed. Somehow, she still hasn't dropped her book. Apparently she's less clumsy when she's asleep. Through the frosted window, I can see the lights of what must be Ainsfield as we approach the station. They're few and far between, like scattered stars. The buildings appear to be placed sporadically, nestled on and around a hill. As we round the bend, the village goes out of sight once more. Can't really put this off any longer. I lean over and shake Tara's shoulder.
Hey, wake up. We're almost there.
Without opening her eyes, Tara mumbles a response.
How close is almost?
Seriously?
I don't know. Couple minutes?
Okay, I'm getting up.
She isn't getting up.
I mean it. If you sleep through the stop, we're just going to...
I'm up, Mads.
Maddie looked over at Tara, who raised her hand from the book. She finally opened her eyes. I cut off the end of my sentence, not sure if I was serious or not. We're not even there yet, and we're already snappy. God, I wish I could sleep just a little longer, I tell myself.
You excited?
Little bit.
Lie.
You?
Kinda nervous still.
What is there to be nervous about? We've done this 1,000 times.
Yeah, well, this isn't like those other 1,000 times. And you know that.
She shrugs again, not meeting my eyes.
I don't know, Maddie. I'm sorry. Let's chill.
Yeah, sorry.
We lapsed into silence. At least when she was asleep it wasn't awkward. I just want off this train. I want to be distracted by going to the cabin and taking in the new sights. Any minute now.
Hey, listen.
Yeah?
I know you're not super thrilled to be here.
She pauses, Lily hoping for me to disagree. I don't.
But let's just be cool, okay? Let's just try and have a good time.
I breathe a deep sigh and let it out slowly. She's right. I'm committed to this trip. I can at least make it easy on myself.
Yeah, okay. Sorry for getting bitchy. I'm tired.
I feel ya. Hey, how do I look?
Like you just slept for 6 hours on a train.
That bad, huh?
She messes with her hair in some attempt to improve its state. The results are unnoticeable at best.
Hopefully it's good enough for Morgan.
Fisher.
Morgan Fisher.
If she's meeting her online hero or whatever, then I doubt she'll care that your hair's a mess.
God, I hope not. I don't want to end up on some fashion faux pas vid. For real though, if she's super fangirly, then let's just let her get it out of her system and hopefully she won't make things weird later.
Making things get weird later is kind of our specialty, though.
Yeah, true. But hey, it got us to 250,000 subs, so like, we must have been doing something right.
I just nod. I still can't help but fixate on her thinking she's saying is past tense. It's over after this. It's fully my decision. All I have to do is say the words, and things will go back to normal. I doubt Tara would even bring it up again if I asked her not to. It'd be so easy. We step off the train and enter another world. A frigid wind saps the heat from my body almost immediately, as if I had been waiting until we arrived to pelt us until our skin felt like it was burning. I instinctively wrap my arms around myself to try and preserve what little body I have left, but it doesn't change a thing. As may as well not even be wearing a coat for all the good mine does. As nice as it is to have the moon keeping things from being completely pitch black, I could really go for some cloud cover right about now. Anything to keep some warmth around us. Tara doesn't even notice the cold. Armed with nothing but her signature jacket, she seems immune to the chill. She oohs and ahs over the rustic train platform, like there must be a ghost hiding in the rafters. Just a minute later, the train rumbles off into the night, leaving us behind, not a single passenger boarded. Tara watches it go, nodding in approval.
Okay, this place is already killing it in terms of atmosphere.
It's like she's completely forgotten the uncomfortable energy that had filled the train, back to her usual overexcited self. I should probably be better, but instead I can't help feeling jealous of how she can just shake it off. She has a little pocket camera that she's been carrying with her. She uses it to take a few photos of the inky blackness surrounding us. I glance upwards at the lights which hang from the ceiling. With small candles lit with real flames, as opposed to electric, one of them has been blown out and swings uselessly in the breeze. They're about as ineffective at keeping the darkness away as my coat is keeping me warm. The low light will surely be ruining Tara's photos, but she snapped it away without a care.
You know none of those are actually going to be visible, right?
She's ignoring me. I should probably just let her enjoy the moment.
This place really does feel super eerie. Listen.
I do, and it soon becomes apparent that what she's referring to. Silence, all around us. It's quiet. Even the sound of the train has faded, leaving us in total solitude. The flickering light of Ainsfield. The flickering lights of Ainsfield seem impossibly far away, though I know it can't be more than half an hour's walk.
It's so quiet. Isn't that cool? We're definitely not in Kansas anymore.
That's one way to put it.
I strained my eyes and ears looking for any hint of Morgan, who's supposed to be picking us up. You'd think the sound of a car's engine would carry pretty far out here.
For real though, I think this could be the place where we finally get some hard evidence. Something solid.
She says this every time, but she usually sounds like she means it more.
Just look at it. Something's gotta be out there. I can feel it.
We both look off towards the trees. From the train, it was pretty difficult to see where they ended. From the platform, it's impossible. My expectations aren't any higher than usual though, which is to say, non-existent. I wonder if Tara really believes what she's saying either. When she speaks again, her voice is quiet.
That would be the perfect send-off, wouldn't it?
Her words sting. Damn it, not here, not already. I want to try and deflect away from this somehow. Just hit her back in her path, let her enjoy this moment without me spoiling it. Or spoiling it.
Who knows? Maybe this will be the one that finally gets you a con panel so you don't have to crash someone else's.
That was one time, and their panel would have sucked without me.
Her voice has an edge of her typical bravado again. It's a relief to hear. She returns to her camera, and I give myself a moment to try and take in my surroundings. Supernatural or not, there's something oddly serene about this place. That said, I'd like it a lot more if it wasn't so damn cold. I shiver and cross my arms even tighter. Surely Morgan will be here soon.
I can't wait to see the village tomorrow. I hope it's like one of those museum exhibits with the little replica towns and people.
In what way?
Like, architecturally.
She sounds out of this world. She sounds out the words slowly.
All rustic and old-timey.
I can't imagine that it'll be that different from home. They've got to be modern enough for Morgan to watch Paranormal after all.
I love that that's her show name, it's brilliant.
If you're expecting people to be walking around in monocles and waistcoats, you're gonna be disappointed.
Here I thought I'd finally get a chance to show off how amazing I'd look in a top hat.
I'm sure you'd be the Tina heartthrob of the Victorian era.
She gives me a brief snort of amusement. Her response feels more muted than usual, but the fact that we're still able to banter is a good sign. I'm glad that I could cheer her up, even if I was the cause of her low mood in the first place. However, after a moment, she looks back at me. Her expression is serious for once.
Okay, so about Morgan. Like I said before, let's give her a chance to get all the excitement out of the way first. We should be nice and friendly, but let's try to keep it professional.
I never thought I'd hear you, of all people, say that.
I find myself flashing back to all the unprofessional situations I've had to I'm fucking brain. What is this? Had to extricate. I find myself flashing back to all the unprofessional situations I've had to extricate Tara from, ranging from bad one-night stands to actual police custody. There are a lot of ways I could describe Tara, but professional is definitely not one of them.
Hey, I usually make a good first impression. It's just the second impression and beyond that you've got to watch out for.
I laugh out loud at that one, and I catch her smirking before she looks away. She can play it cool all she wants, but I can tell from the way she's bouncing up and down that she's undeniably excited for this fangirling she mentioned. It's usually one of her favourite parts. I'm sure a little ego boost will go a long way right about now. I can feel myself hopping back and forth slightly as well, but that's more out of desire to keep my blood flowing. Thankfully, it wasn't too long before I can see the silhouette of someone approaching through the storm.
Oh, thank God.
It's gotta be her, right?
Given that we're the only people out here, I really hope so.
As the girl gets closer, she gets easier to see. She's not exactly an imposing figure. She moves with purpose. She's carrying a large thermos, which she raises a greeting as she approaches. And she's adorable. Morgan has orange hair, green eyes, and a handmade sweater. She doesn't emote as she approaches the girls on the empty train station. I wave back. One of the first things I notice about her is that for some ungodly reason she's not wearing a coat. All she's got on to protect her from the frigid weather is what looks like a hand-knitted sweater, much like Tara. When she reaches the platform, she greets us with nothing more than a tired smile and a small nod. Not exactly the geeking out Tara was expecting.
Hey there, you two. Sorry I'm late.
Her voice is friendly, but flat. She sounds like she hasn't slept in days. Tara looks a little taken aback by how subdued she is. Recovering quickly, she puts on her big celebrity grin.
Oh, no worries. Are you Morgan?
That's right. It's really nice to meet you, Tara.
Morgan's smell does not seem to Morgan's smell doesn't seem to grow. God's sake. Morgan's smell seems to grow warmer as she greets her, but her face quickly regains a neutral expression a moment later. I can see Tara's smile faltering as she realizes this is clearly the maximum amount of geeking out this girl is capable of. To her credit, she recovers well.
Likewise. Charmed, I'm sure.
Okay, maybe not that well. Tara extends her hand and Morgan gives her a brief handshake before turning to me.
You're Madison, right? I think we spoke online already.
Just Maddie is fine. Nice to meet you.
She shakes my hand as well. It's a firm, friendly handshake that ends as quickly as it began. Before she continues, she takes another sip from her thermos. I find myself wishing for a cup of coffee too.
It really is nice to meet the two of you. I'm sure you receive a lot of invitations, so I'm glad you were interested in mine.
Are you kidding? Remote village in the middle of a huge forest? There's no way I'd pass that up. I've heard all kinds of stories about the things you'll find in places like this.
Hopefully not too many, or I won't have anything new for you.
Oh, I'm sure you've got something I'll be interested in.
Real smooth, Tara. So much for being professional. I can see Morgan's mouth twitching slightly at the comment. I can only hope it was something closer to a smile than a grimace.
Tomorrow I can show you around the village. There isn't too much out of the ordinary there, but I'm sure you can find a few things that interest you.
That would be wonderful. We can go sightseeing when Tara isn't off chasing spirits around in the woods.
Morgan and I both smile. Tara flashes me a look of mock annoyance from the slight. But it's probably eating her up that I've gotten more than a reaction out of Morgan than she has.
It's about a half-hour's carriage ride to the cabin if you guys want to head out. Do you need help with your bags at all?
Tara lifts her bags, giving Morgan another shiny grin. I'm pretty sure I've seen her accidentally flex her arms too.
Don't even worry about it. I got this.
Okay, cool. This way.
As we follow, I can see Tara pouting behind her. I've never seen the wind getting taken out of her sails like that. At least that gives her another thing to think about besides my departure. Wait a second. Did she say carriage?
No way.
We're standing in front of an honest-to-God horse-drawn carriage. If it weren't for the little white puffs of breath coming out of the horse's nose, I'd be willing to believe it was some sort of commemorative statue.
This is so cool. Is it yours?
It belongs to my family. Given that there aren't any roads through the woods, there isn't really a point to anyone out here owning a car.
I move closer, examining the craftsmanship as best I can in the moonlight. The design is fairly bare bones, but a few flourishes here and there, and some semi-ornate painted finishes make it clear this was something built with love and care. Somehow, I'm the only one who seems intrigued by our ride.
Tara, come take a look at this.
As I speak, I look back and see her standing completely still, as the cold has put her rooted to the spot.
Give me a sec. I'm just taking in the view a bit. From a distance.
She's trying to act nonchalant, but her wide eyes are flickering towards the horses. Her previous genuine smile has turned to a nervous grimace. Slowly inching forward, she scoots further away from the horses as she approaches the carriage. I'd actually planned for part of her first impression to be Morgan learning that she's absolutely terrified of horses. She'd better at least learn to tolerate them, or this is going to be an even longer trip than I expected.
Wait, if this is the only way through the woods, how are we going to get back and forth between the cabin and the village? Don't tell me we'll have our own carriage. Neither of us can drive one.
Oh, I'm going to be driving you. I can take you back and forth and help you navigate the woods. You didn't expect me to just let you wander around a forest in the middle of nowhere without a guide, did you?
Tara's still slowly making her way towards the carriage. Does her best to give me a look of excitement. If anything, it resembles the look of a panicked hostage. The fact that she's still trying to play it cool is almost admirable in its futility.
You're sure that's not any trouble? I'd hate to inconvenience you any more than we already have.
It's no trouble. I run my own shop, so my schedule is pretty flexible. I'm more than happy to help.
She looks over at Tara, who has finally made it within a few feet of the carriage. She shoots us both a thumbs up.
I have a feeling she might need it.
Trust me, you have no idea.
Morgan turns and deftly swings up into her seat, taking a hold of the reins. Tara finally manages to place her hands on the carriage and climb up to sit alongside her, shaking all the way. I let out a sigh of relief and follow suit, mounting up next to Tara. It's a little cramped up here, but it'd feel weird just sitting by myself. Besides, not keeping an eye on Tara is pretty guaranteed way to make an even worse first impression.
So, can you do any tricks in this thing?
The path for the cabin turns out to be a pretty complicated one. We've been making twists and turns through the trees for a few minutes, but Morgan seems to know exactly where she's going. Not even the dark can stand in her way.
You can navigate through all this with just that little lantern? How can you see landmarks?
Don't worry, I know these woods better than just about anything. Besides, the moonlight is more than enough for me.
Can't help but feel embarrassed as I think about all the times I had to use the flashlight on my phone, just to find something I dropped in the car. Definitely wouldn't last out here. Looking over, I can see Tara bouncing her leg, probably about to launch into a torrent of questions for Morgan. After that flubbed introduction, she's clearly a little less gung-ho than usual, but I know that won't stop her. As such, I should probably get my handling on the actual adult stuff out here. As such, I should probably get my handling of the actual adult stuff out of the way quickly before I get lost in the noise.
Is there anything about the town or the people that we should know? Local customs, things to avoid saying, that sort of thing?
Morgan thinks about it for a moment, silent.
There's a curfew at midnight. Also, you're not supposed to go too far into the forest. I ignore both of those rules a lot. Most of the villagers tend to be sticklers about them, though.
Great. So our host is a troublemaker. Guess that means Tara will be in good company.
So, while we're on our way, could you maybe tell us about some of the specific supernatural occurrences you've seen here so far?
Here she goes. Morgan sits up with a question. She looks over towards us and her eyes seem to lose a bit of its constant drowsiness. She's been waiting for this.
Well, we have a lot of freak weather events. Strange storms that appear and disappear, or are localized to certain parts of the forest in ways that shouldn't be possible.
Tara nods solemnly, already totally enraptured by what Morgan is saying.
Sometimes when I walk in the woods, I can see strange lights here and there. Like tiny little stars inside the forest. I've never been able to get close to them, though.
I raise an eyebrow, but I don't say anything. We've had countless cases of strange lights before, all of which ended up with a rational explanation. Doesn't seem to damper Tara's spirits though. I started to drift off. This is more Tara's jurisdiction anyway, so I'm sure they can just wake me up when we get there.
There's also my cat.
Your cat is a supernatural occurrence?
She can talk, so I'd say so.
Her words snap me out of my trance. Looking over at her, I expect to see her holding in a laugh or sporting some kind of mischievous grin, but her eyes are as serious as it's been since we arrived.
Your cat can talk? Like, talk the way a human does?
Yes, she's very well spoken, in fact.
I try to hide a sigh. Weird weather and lights in the woods are ambiguous enough I can play along with them. But every so often we get these blatantly fake claims too, like a talking cat. Tara, however, instantly perks up once her words sink in. She can't actually believe her, right?
So, could we talk to her? She won't mind if I ask her a few questions, right?
I was hoping you'd ask. I think you'll be very interested in what she has to say.
The whole thing is clearly some kind of joke, but Tara is absolutely taken in. I can practically see the wheels turning in her head as she plans out her follow-up questions. That's never good.
So, do you have any ideas about what could be causing it? Something in her diet, maybe?
I don't think so.
Have you been feeding her some kind of special Eisenfeld cat food?
Okay, I think that's enough of that.
When Tara starts talking about eating cat food, it's time for me to exercise a little diplomacy, move the conversation forward. Crazy or not, I think we should move on.
So, what kind of things does she talk to you about?
Just about our lives for the most part. I figure you'd be better off hearing it from her rather than me.
I'm sure that'll be illuminating.
I'll say, if there's something that paranormal in the village itself, you must have seen way crazier stuff in these woods.
She starts to gesture as she talks, pulling back towards the village and swinging her arms around as she mentions the woods.
Well, there's one pretty major thing, but you probably won't believe me.
I wouldn't have come out here if I didn't believe you. Anything you have to say, I want to hear.
Can detect a hint of cynicism in her voice. Either she really believes this girl she just met has a talking cat, or she's given her a performance worthy of an Oscar.
Are you sure?
110%. Lay it on me.
She winks at her and flashes her finger guns. Back in celebrity mode. Tara's good at recovering with these things, but I've never seen her recover on this level with such speed. But as I watch her lean in towards Morgan to make sure she catches her next statement, I realize another possible reason for her passionate response. If there's one thing she loves more than hearing strange stories, it's trying to impress a cute girl. And things are starting to fall into place a bit. Here's something for you, me. It's in your Discord. You can see it. I mean, I've already paused. Listen, I've already paused on the screen for a bit. When I'm scrubbing back for the footage, I'll be able to just like, I'll be able to check it, and I'll be like, shit, I've been on this screen for a while. I should probably cut that out, since it's fine. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. Oh. Thank you, Peony. It's amazing. You always make me look so adorable, God's sake. Thank you. So while we're paused, I need to check something. I saw this, I'm pretty sure I saw this somewhere. I need to look at this up a second. I fucking knew it. I have my suspicions. Apparently Tara is canonically a trans woman. Which, funnily enough, as a trans woman, makes me very happy. Say what's up, Lily. Anyway, we shall continue.
Well, one of the main reasons I called you out here is I'm not sure if it has a name, but it's some kind of forest spirit.
Spirit? Like a ghost or something?
No, something physical. Some sort of massive creature, like the forest came to life.
Okay, this is new. Even the crazier fans don't get this outlandish. But Tara is absolutely eating it up. No matter what her reasoning is, I'm glad she's having a good time.
Is there anything else you can tell me about it? Does it speak or anything? Have you managed to interact with it at all? Is it more kaiju-sized or more basketball player-sized?
I've only seen it once, unfortunately, so I don't know too much about it. I've searched for it a number of times since, but without any results. Who knows? Maybe you two will have better luck than I have. That's what you're best at, isn't it?
In terms of talents, I'd say it's certainly up there.
Morgan's mouth turns into a small but seemingly genuine smile, and her expression grows slightly less intimidating.
I knew you'd believe me. Nobody else around here does.
I can't imagine why. I feel a pang of guilt at that thought crossing my mind. As crazy as her story sounds, it can't possibly be easy feeling rejected in a community this isolated. No wonder she was so eager to bring us into the fold.
So, how far away would you say we are from the cabin?
We should be coming up on it any minute now. I'll help the two of you get situated and then head back. I'll be happy to tell you more about the spirit tomorrow.
Thank God.
Oh yeah, great. That's great. I'm exhausted.
That much isn't a lie. All I want to do right now is pass out. We've passed the last of the houses that I can see. The sparsely marked path continues on towards the forest. The last traces of civilization are behind us now.
By any minute now? What exactly did you mean?
I can't keep the biting tone entirely out of my voice.
Just ahead. See?
She points forward into the darkness. I strain my eyes to see anything other than murk. Finally, I spot the faint outline of a small cabin practically swallowed by the forest.
I started the heater before I left to get you, so it should be warm.
That's what I like to hear. You're like Prometheus.
I'm surprised you know who that is.
Why? I love that movie.
Morgan suddenly jerks the reins and the horses come to a stop. Tara and I are rattled from our seats and nearly fall forward.
Damn it.
What happened?
Rather than answer, Morgan just glares into the darkness where the cabin is. I strain to see what she does as my heart starts to race. Is that a wild animal? A bear? Wolf? There's a sound of footsteps as a shadow catches itself in the cabin and moves towards us. A human shadow. An older woman comes into view, stopping just to the edge of the lantern's light. A stern, older-looking woman steps out in front of the cabin. She has the same orange hair as Morgan. She's clearly related to Morgan, her angular features and steely eyes barely visible in the dark, making her look like she stepped out of a... is that Baroque painting? Let's go with that.
Why are you here?
I came to greet our guests.
She spits the word our, clearly asserting some sort of ownership. I suck in an involuntary breath as she approaches. But being able to see her more clearly isn't a reassurance. If anything, it's the opposite. Something about her radiates hostility. Even the horses seem uncomfortable, the ears pressed back as they stamp their feet in the snow. Up close, her gaze is sharp and fierce, her face proud but sunken, cheekbones jutting out as if her face doesn't quite fit. It makes her look older than she is.
Which of you is Tara?
Mouth drawn thin, she looks from me to Tara, then back again. Each second that passes makes the discomfort grow. Keep waiting for Morgan to intervene, but she doesn't. Tara and I exchange a quick, nervous glance. Then she clears her throat and leans forward, offering a handshake.
That's me.
The woman regards Tara's outstretched hand for a moment and ignores it.
Welcome to Eisenfeld. My name is Evelyn, the mayor. Who are you?
Her attention flicks to me like a hand on a clock.
I'm Maddie. Madison. Tara's manager?
I see.
It's clear that she's judging us, though I have no idea on what.
Are you done yet? They're tired. You can interrogate them later.
Just what exactly is she volunteering us for? Interrogate is a kind of... Interrogate is kind of a strong word. Our host makes absolutely no effort to disguise the loathing in her voice. In a town as small as this one, you can't imagine that speaking to someone as important as the mayor like this is a good idea. Though Evelyn appears entirely unfazed. She remains in the middle of the trail, blocking her path. She and Morgan stare each other down while Tara and I sit in painfully uncomfortable silence. After at least a minute, the mayor finally steps out of the way and heads back up the way she came.
We'll speak later.
It's clearly a command, not a request. The carriage sits immobile until the sound of Evelyn's footsteps are lost in the night. And even beyond that.
So she seems nice.
Her statement seems to snap Morgan back into the present. Morgan flicks the reins and begins moving again. She turns around to face us, looking genuinely apologetic.
I'm so sorry about that. I thought she'd at least wait until tomorrow, and I'd have some time to prepare you beforehand.
Is she your mom?
Technically.
What? No way! How could you tell?
The family resemblance?
Morgan purses her lips.
Unfortunate, isn't it? Long story short, I didn't tell her that you were going to be staying here until this morning.
I'm speechless, hoping that it's just a joke and the punchline fell flat. Morgan's clearly serious. For the second time in a handful of minutes, I'm wondering what we've gotten ourselves into. Tara laughs, so I can tell it's forced.
Well, it's no big deal, right? It's not like she runs your life.
Silence.
Right?
Eventually, Morgan nods.
Right. We shouldn't get into it right now, though. I'm sure you'd rather sleep tonight.
I can see Tara gathering the breath to disagree and tell Morgan that we'd love to hear all about her family issues right now. So I head her off.
Yeah, we would.
Whatever family drama it is that she's gotten us involved in, I can at least wait until I'm not about to pass out. The carriage comes to a stop just a few feet away from the door. Small stone path but has the snow cleared from it and leads to a short flight of stairs. We're facing a large window, although it's dark and impossible to see into. Morgan vaulted out of the carriage, nimbly landing on her feet.
I'll unlock the door. Your luggage already came in too, so it's inside.
Tara launches herself out of the carriage, just like Morgan did, and she quickly scurries away from the patient horses, eyeing them for any sudden movements. I climb down as she stands an extremely safe distance away.
I can't carry all of this on my own, you know.
I toss her bag, and she lurches to catch it, barely keeping it from landing in the snow. We stand back and watch as Morgan fiddles endlessly with the lock on the door, pushing and trying again and again, over and over. Now that we're so close to the end, I can feel the last of my reserves of energy rapidly draining. The bags in my arms feel like they weigh 1,000,000 pounds.
So, what do you think?
She mutters as quietly as she can for her though her timing couldn't be worse.
I think I want to go to bed.
Same as ever then.
You know me.
Rubbing my arms, I peer into the forest. Just beyond the first few lines of trees, everything fades into an inky blackness, thick and impenetrable. I shiver, not entirely because of the cold. A cool breeze rattles the empty branches as they scrape against each other, mimicking the way I'm trying to stay warm. Finally, there's a banging sound as Morgan solves the mystery of the lock and nearly falls through the door. She pokes her head back through like nothing happened.
I got it open.
Hallelujah.
I haul my way inside and into the blessed warmth. It's been so long since I've been near a working heater. A small lamp on the side table casts a bit of light over the room. Our luggage, as promised, is scattered haphazardly around the living room, just like home. Tara slips past me to bounce around and examine it all. Her bags hurled as carelessly as I pull them out of the carriage.
Oh my god! Holy shit! This is so cool!
There's nothing really out of the ordinary, so I just stand there and wait for her to get it all out of her system.
Isn't this the coolest? It's like staying in a history museum.
That's the kind of thing you'd usually treat like a punishment.
Are you kidding me? I love history. We even did that whole series on the history of cryptids in the American Midwest. And I spent like 3 months on that special about Bigfoot's impact on the Great Depression.
That's one of my favorite episodes. I had never heard of the theory that FDR was a cousin of Sasquatch.
To be fair, I don't think FDR did either.
Morgan laughs and I just roll my eyes.
I mean the kind of history that actually happened.
History is doomed to repeat itself, Mads.
I don't even respond. The whole episode felt like the plot of an awful low-budget B-movie. Instead, I cross the living room towards a tiny hall with a pair of identical doors.
These are the bedrooms?
That's right. They're the same size, so there's not much of a difference.
Guess I'll take this one then.
I push open the closed door. Inside, it's just 4 walls with a bed, a shelf, and a small dresser. I drop my bag on the floor and roll my suitcase in. Tara lingers in the living room, talking about the features of the cabin with Morgan. Suddenly I hear her yell in pain, or horror. I rush back out, knocking over my suitcase and nearly slamming into the door as I go. I half expect to see Morgan holding a bloody knife or something, but instead Tara is just holding her phone.
What happened?
A tragedy. Actually, worse, the apocalypse. Check out your phone.
I do as she says, citing a news article or an alert or something, but there's nothing.
What? I don't have anything.
Exactly. No service out here.
I check. Sure enough, she's right. There isn't the barest trace of a signal at all.
What about Wi-Fi? I assume we have that, right?
Technically.
Oh no. I stocked up on books and downloaded a bunch of new films before we left, since I wasn't expecting to have much connection out here anyway. But I'm willing to bet the thought never even crossed Tara's mind. Good thing I've packed a few books I think she'll like too. Tara glumly pocketed her phone again as Morgan gave us a small smile.
Let me give you the quick tour.
I don't think it's entirely necessary since we can see everything ourselves, but I don't stop her.
This is the kitchen. There's a stove and an oven. The stove is somewhat picky and doesn't always like to work. Actually, I guess it's the same for the oven.
Don't worry, I don't know how to cook anyway.
I love that for you, girl.
Over here is the fireplace. I can show you how to chop firewood sometime if you'd like.
I think I might pass on that one.
This is the couch. You can also sleep on it if you'd like. It doesn't unfold into a bed or anything, but I sometimes come here and sleep on it anyway.
That doesn't even surprise me.
The Wi-Fi password is on a note by the phone. So is my phone number, so you can reach me anytime.
I mean, noodles and pizza are good, though.
Do you have any questions?
I shake my head and look at Tara, who does the same.
I think we're good. Thanks for all your help tonight, Morgan.
It was my pleasure. Again, I can't thank you enough for coming all the way out here. I'll be sure to make it worth your time.
I'm sure. Can't wait to get started.
Me either. But I should probably be going for tonight. I've kept you up long enough as it is.
She heads out the front door, waving goodbye.
Night, Morgan. Thanks again.
Good night.
Through the large window, I can see, as she starts walking through the large window, we can see, as she starts to make her way down the path.
I'm gonna go to bed too.
Yeah, same.
We switch off the lamps as we head to our respective rooms. Tara grabs her bags from the floor where she tossed them.
Alright, see you in the morning then?
I must say, Tara's my spirit animal. I love her. She's such a mood. Same. I love this baby.
Yeah, night.
I shut the door behind me and she does the same. I sway like a zombie as I stalk towards my bed. It takes the last of my strength to dig my pajamas out of my suitcase and change. There's a window here, and that looks pretty. And there's a window here that looks straight out into the forest. The first thing I do is pull the curtain shut. Crawling into bed, I face away from the window and pull the blanket up to my chin. It's heavy and warm, and I wrap it around myself like a burrito. The bed is firmer than I'm used to, and the pillow thinner. There are like 3 other blankets though, so I ball one of them up and use it as a second pillow. As I try to get comfortable, my thoughts start to drift off. A detached part of me is glad the timing worked out well enough to avoid jet lag. And in all, aside from the Wi-Fi, it's pretty nice as far as accommodations go, especially since we're not paying for it. It seems strange that Morgan would come all the way out here just to take naps sometimes. I can already tell that most of what Morgan does would be considered strange. Strange but harmless, I don't mind, but when I think of her mother, the mayor, a chill runs down my spine, and I bundle myself even more tightly in the blankets. I should give her a second chance though, especially if she didn't have any warning about her arrival. It stands to reason that she'd be annoyed at Morgan renting out her family's cabin like that. When I think of it that way, her reaction seems pretty justified. I'll just be extra polite to her next time we meet. Hopefully it isn't an interrogation like Morgan said. That was probably just her being dramatic. I yawn, wishing sleep would come faster. I expected to be out before my head even hit the pillow, not lying here with my thoughts racing. Try and block out everything and focus on my breathing. In, out. In, out. In. A loud tap 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 on the window cuts through the silence. My heart leaps in my throat as I bolt upright in bed. I get tangled on the blankets, scrambling to haul them off me. With one hand, I desperately feel for my glasses nearby. I finally find them and shove them onto my face, nearly jabbing my eyes out. With horror, I look to the window, the one that made me uncomfortable from the start. It's Morgan. Lantern in hand, fist raised against the glass. She stands there patiently. If she knows what kind of emotional roller coaster she just put me through, she doesn't show it. Shakily, I walk over to the window, not even switching on the lamp. With some difficulty, I wrench it open, disturbing a small mound of snow. That's for your cross extended warranty. Yeah, look at it.
Yes?
It's the best I can manage. Anything longer, and I'm not sure I could keep it civil.
Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Please be ready to go by 8, and I'll come pick you up.
I just blink, unable to comprehend what I'm hearing.
Is that okay? We could make it 8:30, but no later.
No, 8 is fine. Is that all?
That's right. Have a good night. Sorry if I disturbed you.
I think you may have, Morgan. I've got a little bit of an inkling you may have. I slammed the window shut and hobbled back to bed. She doubled back in the snow and scared the hell out of me for that. I checked the time on my phone. It's nearly midnight. 8 hours to sleep and then be ready to go. It's gonna be a long month, isn't it? It's 8 hours and 34 minutes later. I know because telling time is my phone's only remaining function. Yeah, I still check it constantly, like something might change. Church forward, Morgan was there to pick us up. Right at 8. It's a minor miracle that Tara and I were both ready to go. I don't know who had it worse, me waking up to my alarm or Tara waking up to me banging on her door. Even now, she slowly eats a piece of bread from the kitchen, looking for all the world. Even now, she slowly eats a piece of bread from the kitchen, looking for all the world like a cow chewing cud. We each bump the carriage hits, my tiny cup of coffee threatens to spill into my hand. I'm not sure that I'd feel it. After answering Morgan's perfunctory questions about our first night, we spend the rest of the ride in silence. She didn't acknowledge at all that she had knocked on my window. Apparently it wasn't remarkable enough for her to deserve another mention. I watched from over her shoulder, now as we approach the town. From the train last night, the scattered lights made Ainsfield appear to be a lot larger than it really is. Now in the daylight, I have to strain my eyes to pick out some of the buildings against the hills and snow. Kara's missing it all, staring at our feet, crumbs littering the floor beneath her. Morgan guides us along the path that I'm pretty sure is the same one as last night. A few villagers move out of the way of our carriage, not even turning to look. It must be a regular occurrence. Even though it's hard for anyone to see us in here, I still feel self-conscious. I clutch the bag of cameras. I clutch the bag of camera gear tighter to my chest, hiding myself behind it. There aren't any other carriages in the road, nor anything bigger than a pushcart, so we still stand out, at least in my head. If the situation is at all awkward or out of the ordinary to Morgan, she doesn't show it. She pulls the reins, and the carriage comes to a stop on the road. There aren't as many other people out here, but what few there are giving us a wide berth.
And here we are.
Tara finally perks up, the words clearly spoken for her benefit. It takes her a moment to realize we've made an entrance. As soon as she does, she's in showbiz mode. She leaps to her feet, throwing off the exhaustion like a disguise.
Here we are indeed.
She vaults out of the carriage, spinning circles like we're in the middle of a grand plaza instead of the middle of a street. I climb it more carefully, then scurry out of the way.
Okay, this rules.
It does feel like we've traveled back in time. The buildings, all built from wood and stone, look like they've been here for centuries. The road that we're on and currently blocking is made of cobblestone. It winds its way through the town, despite being covered in well-tampered snow.
We're certainly a long way from home.
Morgan doesn't disembark from the carriage and instead calls down to us.
The town square is right down this road, but if I take you there, I won't be able to turn the carriage around. It's always a pain when that happens. I'm going to open up my shop, but feel free to come by whenever you'd like. I'm sorry I can't show you around right now, but I'll make it up to you later.
Tara Matter in Minecraft. I was very strongly resisting the urge to make a Minecraft villager joke. It was there.
Where's your shop?
Oh, right.
She pulls a piece of paper from somewhere and dangles it towards me. I cross the road and take it from her. Unfolding it, I can see that it's a map. Despite being hand-drawn, it's pretty coherent and legible. Certain buildings, like Morgan's shop and the local pub, are denoted by handwritten tags. In the middle of the road where we're currently standing, she's drawn in a helpful "You are here" notice with a smiley face. She clearly planned this well in advance.
Cool. Thanks.
Feel free to stop by around lunch. I'll make you both something.
Hell yeah! You're the best, Morgan.
Thanks.
Morgan gives us a brief wave before heading off to wherever it is you park a horse-drawn carriage. I point in the direction of the town square that Morgan mentioned, wanting to get away from all the people who are currently gawking at us. We definitely stick out, if only because of our colourful hair and clothes. Combined, their outfits have the colour palette of a bowl of oatmeal. Although they stare, nobody really says anything. Either too polite or too intimidated. Both Tara and I avoid eye contact with strangers as we hurry to the empty town square.
Well, that couldn't have gone worse.
There are a million ways that could have gone worse. If people looking at us funny is the only downside of this trip, then it'll be our best episode yet.
Exactly.
I mean, ever.
I wish you'd stop bringing it up. It always kills the mood, which was barely on life support to begin with. Ah, shit.
Tara Rupp, self-voicing disabled.
Shit. Alright, Tara rubs her shoulders, having stubbornly chosen not to dress any warmer today.
Okay, ready to get your Terranormal on, Mads?
I shrug my camera bag onto my shoulder and nod.
I suppose there's no harm in spending a little time establishing the location. Might as well get some B-roll while we're here.
One thing that both Tara and I have in common is that we're not really sightseers. I spend as much time in my room as I can, whether that's the hotel room while we're filming or my bedroom at home. So as much Tara loves investigations and all the dramatic stuff, she'd probably totally skip the exposition segments if she didn't leave them to me. That means we're pretty efficient at filming them. An overlay simulating a video camera appears on the screen while Maddie is filming. I turn on the camera and slowly turn a circle, capturing the ground, sky, and some nearby buildings for footage for what we can splice together later. I do a slow pan across some of the houses, then frame and hold a shot of the path further into the village. A young couple passes by, holding hands, and they share a suspicious look at the camera as they go by. I guess I'm editing that part out later. Most of the time, making Terranormal videos has just been finding ways to stretch 10 seconds of interesting footage into a 10-minute video. Oh my god, chills? Holy shit. Chills reference? That's something else that we're both good at. The cold wind makes it hard to keep a steady grip, so I stow the camera and shove my hands into my pockets.
Get anything cool?
Unable to browse on her phone while she usually does while waiting. Instead, Tara watches from over my shoulder as I record.
Not really. There's not much to see here.
Yeah, it's kinda less impressive up close.
It's the kind of place that you'd expect a tumbleweed to blow through, like if the climate fit.
Wow, you're turning into quite the poet.
Oh, shut up.
What? It was a compliment. Anyway, since filming the village is a dud right now, we should follow up one of the rumors Morgan was talking about the other night. I'm thinking giant tree spirit.
I have to go to bed. Let's go. Cringe. Bye, Peony. Talk to you later. Bye.
That's the most interesting one she talked about for sure. That's the headliner. We need to build up to that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Picture this. We head to the woods to get some creepy shots. Do it right around sundown. Make it super ambient. Lots of atmosphere, wind sounds, maybe a wolf howl. We've got a good wolf sound effect we could use, right?
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, I do a narration over all that, introducing where we are and what we're out here looking for. Then we get a sound of a big branch snapping, and just cut the video right there.
Tara looks pleased with herself and glances back at me for approval. Takes me a minute to react.
So, end the video on a cliffhanger?
Yeah, I think so. We can definitely stretch the Eisenfeld stuff into a mini-series or something. We should be able to get at least 3 episodes worth of stuff out here.
That sounds fine. A snapping branch is a pretty weak way to end it, though. Especially since, like, we uploaded the video. No one's going to wonder if we're okay or not.
Oh, that's true. So you think maybe we just make one long vid? Or end it differently?
Maybe a different ending. I'll think of something later.
Cool. You're the best, Mads.
I smile, but it hurts a little. I'm sure she's not trying to make me feel bad. Probably doesn't even know that I do. I just shrug, wanting to change the subject.
We can also follow up on some of the smaller rumors. Like, in her email, she mentioned mysterious lights out in the forest.
Like a will-o-wisp? Aren't those actually real?
You're the expert. You should know that, not me.
Tara stares at me expectantly.
Yes, they're real, but it's just swamp gas. It doesn't matter though, because we need to wait for nighttime for that stuff. It's not very spooky during the daytime.
In that case, we definitely want to talk to the locals. See what kind of rumors they've heard of. That kind of thing.
Right, that's definitely the smart thing to do.
We both face back towards the street we came down, where Morgan dropped us off with all those nosy people, who just stared at us but wouldn't talk. Awkwardly.
Or we could get some more establishing shots from other parts of the village.
I like that idea.
We pick a direction at random and start walking. As we head further into town, it starts to get more lively, and there are more people around. That might just be the time of day though. A couple of folks shovel snow in front of their homes. A group of kids run up and down the street, accompanied by a sagging basset hound. A woman wearing what appears to be an entire bear for a coat shuffles past us. Wherever we go, the villagers watch us unabashedly. No one makes any attempt to talk to us, and conversations fall silently conversations fall silent whenever we come near. I wonder if there's some sort of order given to not speak with us, or if it just happens naturally. I try to force myself to ignore it. We're not doing anything wrong, we're just curiosity. The only interesting thing about us is our out-of-townness. Morgan said that there are rarely ever visitors out here. It's not hard to imagine why. It doesn't seem to be much worth visiting. Still, if we're going to keep this up, it's going to make those interviews even harder. Tara taps me on the shoulder, nodding in the direction of our observers.
Is it just me, or is there kind of a creepy serial killer vibe going on here?
Oh my god, can you not?
Hey, I'm just kidding. Just trying to lighten the mood a bit.
Our reaction having ruined any chance of that, neither of us speak again. I unpack the camera again and film a few of the storefronts as we go. As long as I'm superfluous enough, most people don't notice and thus don't change their behaviour. Inevitably, whenever someone does see me filming, they tense up and just stare, ruining the take. It's like they've never seen a camera before. Maybe that's not too far from the truth. One thing I have to give Ainsfield credit for is that there's more personality in its construction than I first thought. Most of the buildings seem to be people's homes, but it doesn't take us long to find a few stores here and there. The names are simple and plain, like you're reading a tabletop RPG book. Henkel and Sons Tailoring, a butcher shop named The Hearty Sow, and that sort of thing. When we pass by a tavern called The Bushy Beard, I can hear Tara snickering behind me.
Do you think they have barmaids?
What?
Like the sexy Oktoberfest kind? Do you think they have those here?
God, I love Tara so much. Tara's words are so out of nowhere, they take me a second to mentally process.
This isn't a Renaissance fair, Tara. I'm pretty sure they just wear normal clothes to work.
Tara's mouth gapes open wide.
Wait, what? Back up. Ren fairs have sexy barmaids?
Where else did you think they come from?
I have no idea. I always thought those things were just full of boring stuff.
What? Not at all. They have swordplay demonstrations or time period appropriate foods. Some local experts will give talks or lectures on certain topics, and
Like I said, boring stuff.
God, I love both of them. My heart. I love these babies.
Whatever. There's more to it than just cosplay. I bet you'd actually like it if you went with me next time. Plus, I thought you loved history now.
To be fair, Ren Fair does sound really fun. I don't actually know if that's like a thing people do around Forest Day. I doubt it, but I'm kind of tempted to Google it later.
Not the boring kind of history. Duh.
How are swords boring?
Whatever, Mads.
She walks away. How did I manage those an argument she started? We cut a slow but steady course through the village. Despite how randomly the layers seem, it's impossible to get lost. All the roads seem to lead back into each other. I'm so used to the sounds of busy intersections and highways, the near silence is almost unnerving. I can appreciate the serenity and calm of it all, but I think I'd go crazy if I lived here. We're not even a full day out and I can't help but miss my cozy apartment and the conveniences of city life. Eventually, we take a path that brings us back to a familiar sight, the town square that we visited right after Morgan dropped us off. There's no Ren Fairs in our area. I think there's some in England, though. I believe there's more in America. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're more of an American thing. I mean, if she'll travel all the way to England for a Ren Fair. According to my phone, it's been a little bit over an hour since then. Still too early to be up with Morgan for lunch. Guess we can't keep putting us off for any longer.
I think I have enough of the town now. Do you want to start interrogating the villagers?
Interviewing.
The perfect place to have a Ren Fair. I know, right? It's kind of cringe. Didn't even notice myself misspeak. I must still have interrogations on my mind after beating the mayor last night. Tara poses dramatically, hyping herself up for the camera. I'm not even recording yet.
Time to put my game face on.
As long as it's a game face that people want to talk to.
Mads, when have I ever been anything but charming?
She sighs.
Yeah, I know. I'll keep it chill for these so we don't freak anyone out. But, like, how do we do this? Just go up to people and ask if we can chat?
I guess. I don't have any better ideas.
This is how we usually do it. Except usually people are more curious about who we are and what we're doing. Sometimes after introducing ourselves, there are even people who have heard of us. That is definitely not the case out here. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if Morgan was the only person in this whole village that uses YouTube. The only thing more awkward than just asking random people for an interview is them staring silently while you approach and we don't have any other options. I hand the mic to Tara. At least I'm not the one who has to do the talking. Tara stands there with the mic in hand. And stands there.
You good?
Yeah, I am. Just give me a sec, okay?
Okay.
She psychs herself up by stretching and taking a few deep breaths. The whole time she holds the mic pinched between her two fingers like it's something she just peeled off her shoe. When she's finally ready, she gives me a thumbs up and starts to walk again. I trail a couple of meters behind her, keeping her back framed in the middle of the shot. She moved with a determined stride, but I can see the microphone shaking in her hand. We pass by a few people walking around, but she doesn't stop at any of them, nor does she ask any of the folks outside the buildings chatting or working, or just sitting and looking bored. Just up ahead, a middle-aged woman smokes a cigarette, looking at nothing and no one in particular. It doesn't look like she's going anywhere, and she's not already in the middle of a conversation. She's the perfect candidate, and Tara must know it too. I wait for her to go up and introduce herself. I stand still and hit the record button. The record button, filming her approach. Except she doesn't. She walks right past the lady whose gaze follows as she goes. I pause the recording and hurry to catch up, hissing Tara's name. I have to say it twice before she hears me and stops.
Sup?
What are you waiting for? We've passed like a dozen people now.
Right, but none of them are the right one.
Which one is the right one?
You know it's impossible to tell. I'll know when I see them.
I roll my eyes and don't chastise her. She's trying her best.
Oh, okay, here we go. Get ready.
I follow her line of sight out to figure out her prey. An older man resting on a bench nearby. Broad-shouldered with a long beard, He looks like a stereotype of a lumberjack. Like the previous woman, he stares vapidly off into the distance, thoughts clearly elsewhere. Once again, I plant my feet and set up the shot. I make micro adjustments to the focus until I get it just right, and the rest is up to Tara. Slowly, Tara approaches the man. Either she doesn't see her coming, or he ignores her. She glances at me for reassurance, which I give in the form of a smile and a nudging motion, telling her to get on with it. She clears her throat, around the man's attention. He turns to her slowly, and eyes are suspiciously. When he notices me and the camera, he tenses up. Not off to a good start. Tara talks quickly, trying to explain the situation.
Hi there, my name's Tara Brick. My friend Maddie and I are visiting from out of town doing a report on Eisenfeld. I was wondering if we could ask you a few questions.
Report? What kind of report?
He relaxes just a little bit. The man rubs his eyes wearily, peering back and forth between me and Tara. I wish he'd stop looking directly into the camera. I slowly start to move laterally, trying to frame the two of them better, but he keeps shifting on the bench to watch me.
It's an investigation on the supernatural. Rumors, ghost stories, that sort of thing. We've heard a lot of legends about Eisenfeld, and we're looking into them, trying to figure out what's true and what isn't.
Figure out the truth, huh?
The man mutters darkly, his beetle-browed eyes still flipping between me and Tara. He chews his lip while he thinks about it. Something about his face is striking me as odd, but I can't figure out what it is. Probably just a trick of the camera or the light.
Well, alright. I suppose I've got the time.
It takes Tara a beat to respond. We were both sure that he was going to tell us to bug off or something. Or worse.
Great, thank you. So, can you tell me about Eisenfeld? Just what is life like here? On an average day? That sort of thing.
Clearly she didn't expect to get this far, and that's the first thing that came to mind. She offers the man a mic, but he just stares uncomfortably until she retracts it.
Right, well, it's a good little town. Good and proper. Quiet. Real quiet. That's what I like about it. None of that city business. No noise and bustle. Out here, it's just you and nature. That suits me just fine, it does.
So you're from around here then? Spent your life in Eisenfeld?
Born and raised, and God willing, I'll die out here too. Never thought about leaving. Never had a reason to.
Great, great. So then I'd imagine you know all about any local legends, right?
About as well as anyone. Any old village has got its stories. If you believe them all, there's goblins in the woods, trolls in the mountains, and who knows what else elsewhere. Of course, it's only children who believe in those.
So you've never seen anything weird yourself? Nothing unexplainable?
Weird like what?
But now the man has abandoned looking at Tara entirely, instead focusing on the camera, his eyes looking strangely focused.
One of our friends here mentioned something about a big forest spirit, like a walking tree kind of thing.
He sits up from his slouch, finally turning to face Tara.
What friend of yours might that be?
She's from around here. One of the locals.
Even though we gave her a shout out on one of our videos, Tara's reluctant to name Morgan as her contact. It makes sense. Her neighbours surely feel different about us than our other viewers do.
I'll bet it was the Fisher child, wasn't it? If you know what's best for you, you'll steer clear of her. Nothing but trouble comes from that one. Nothing at all.
Tara and I exchange a glance. Seems her thoughtfulness was irrelevant. At the same time, I'm suddenly a lot more interested in what this guy has to say.
Why do you say that?
It feels like a strange violation of privacy to be asking this stranger's opinions on her host. But if she's notorious enough that anyone on the street knows of her, then perhaps we're better off knowing why. Spitting into the snow, our subject stands and turns his back to us.
There are some questions you ought not be asking, miss. I'll be going now. Enjoy yourselves.
He lumbers off into the town, though I don't watch him for very long. Questions we ought not to be asking, huh? I'm not sure if that's a threat or not. For the sake of my anxiety, I try to tell myself it's not. I joined Tara on the bench, doing my best to avoid the puddles of melted snow.
That was something.
That's putting it nicely.
I don't know what that was either. Maybe Tara's right, it was something.
You get it all?
She tapped 2 fingers against the camera in my hand.
Of course. All 2 uncomfortable minutes.
I wasn't given a lot to work with there.
I replayed the recording with Tara leaning over to watch along with me. It's not any less awkward the second time through.
Well, we already knew we need to talk to a few different people. Just got unlucky on the first one. Know what I mean?
Tara stands up, but I remain seated.
Still need another minute?
I don't say anything, I just try to think of what to say.
Hello, Earth to Maddie. Please respond.
I'm thinking.
My voice is too harsh and snappy, and we both know it. I played for the clip again, this time without Tara watching. Something still seems off to me, and it's not just the gruff way he left.
Look, we knew Morgan was a bit weird. All of our fans are weird. That's why they're our fans. In a tiny little town like this, of course anyone who's different is gonna have a reputation. That doesn't make Morgan a bad person.
I'm not saying she's a bad person. I didn't say anything. But if you had to ask, I'm sitting here thinking that it's really freaking shady that a guy just guessed we were here with Morgan, and then that he up and left as soon as he found out. That's not normal. That's not something that's happened to us before.
Great, that means we're on the right track. If they're hiding something, then that means there's something to hide.
Have you completely lost your mind?
This is ridiculous. Even for Tara, I can understand her wanting to give Morgan a chance, but actually buying into her nonsense? Tara nods and looks down at her feet, brushing some snow off her shoe.
It's only been a couple hours, Mads. He's just one old cranky geezer. Please, please just try to have some patience on this one, okay? For me.
I check my watch. Hasn't even been 2 hours. That only makes her more right, as much as I hate to admit it. Sighing, I place my head on my hands.
Sorry, I'm still tired.
It's okay.
After a long moment, I stand.
Wanna find somebody else?
Guess we oughta.
We trapeze wordlessly through the town a bit more. Keep the camera stowed. I'll set up when we find someone. Now that we've been burned once, I start to understand why Tara is so reluctant to speak to anyone. But one seems like people tightening their clothes against the cold, and now seems like turning their shoulders towards us. A suspicious number of folk look away from us to cough. The amount of times we've passed by the same places certainly doesn't help our appearance, but now there are a few, especially chatty villagers, that have seen us pass by at least 4 times. It takes another 50 minutes sloping around the town before we find another candidate. A pair of girls about our age are waiting outside a shop. Inside, a third girl is talking to the shopkeeper. People our age are going to be our best bet. One of the waiting girls sips from a small mug of what I assume is coffee. She sees us and nods her head in greeting. That's the nicest reception we've gotten so far.
What about them?
Worth a try.
This time I approach with Tara. I let her take the lead, but I follow close behind, force myself to smell in order to seem more approachable.
Excuse me.
The talking girl and shopkeeper turn towards us at the same time, conversation snapping off immediately.
Excuse me. Hey there.
Hello.
The girl next to her leans in to whisper something in her friend's ear but doesn't talk to us.
Hey, so my friend and I are here from out of town.
We know.
They both giggle to themselves.
We're filming a documentary sort of thing about Eisenfeld, and I was wondering if I could ask you some questions.
Eisenfeld? Why here? What about it?
Well, we're doing a video about any sort of rumors or local legends that you might have out here. Ghost stories or that kind of thing.
The 2 girls talk to each other in low voices that I can't pick up. The quieter girl is muttering something, and the girl of coffee is agreeing and nodding along. As one of them turns to face us again.
I don't think there's anything like that out here. This isn't that kind of place.
Not a single one. When you were kids, your parents didn't tell you stories about things that lived in the forest? You've never been out late at night and seen something you can't explain?
We're not allowed out late at night.
Right. There's a curfew.
The girls go quiet, going to themselves. Sensing a dead end, Tara changes her tactics.
Do either of you know a girl named Morgan? She's the mayor's daughter.
The first girl, the one with the coffee, grins at that and pulls her companion's arm. The other girl swatting her away, face turning pink.
Oh, I'm pretty sure everyone knows her.
She smells devilishly at her embarrassed friend.
Some of us better than others.
Hey yo.
What's she like? Why is she so famous?
She isn't that bad.
She's trouble and you know it. Staying out after hours, sneaking around town, she spends a lot of time out in the woods too. Sometimes overnight. What do you think she's doing out there?
There's a particular conclusion we're supposed to have reached. It's lost on me. Still, it can't be coincidence. There were 2 for 2 now on people being weirded out by Morgan. 2 for 3 if I count myself.
Do you think there's something out there?
The 2 girls blink, as if the reaction was planned.
Something like what?
Tara shrugs.
No idea. Like I said, that's what we're researching.
I don't think you'll find anything like that here. I'm sorry, but this isn't a very interesting place.
Right.
I strayed away, leaving her behind. I head into a corner between 2 buildings out of sight of the girls we spoke to. Tara catches up and leans against the wall next to me.
That didn't go much better.
Really, you think? Was it just a coincidence that these 2 other random people we met happened to have the same opinion of Morgan as the first? She didn't tell her mom, the mayor of the whole town, that we're going to be staying in a cabin that her mother probably owns. For a month. She rambles off stuff that makes any one of our videos look like an episode of Scooby-Doo, and then the next morning just dumps us off in the middle of the village. We haven't even been here for a day yet. We've seen our host for like an hour tops, and we were practically asleep for most of that. How am I supposed to have a good opinion of her so far?
Oh yeah, she's gotta work. Come on, Mads, have a little faith. What's the worst that can happen? The lead turns out to be nothing like the other 200 times before. Some girls gossip about us, an old bum tells us to get lost.
207. And the worst part is that the whole town hates us while we're stuck here after spending thousands of dollars to cross the world. To live in a wood cabin with no phone service and barely any internet. For a month. You've got to see the problem here, Tara.
Tara sighs and throws up her hands.
Okay, so what? What is it that you want me to do? We're here and you hate it. I get it. So what's the solution? What is it you're hoping for here? Like I said before, let's just deal with it, make the best of it we can, and try to have some fun. That was the whole point of this thing. It was supposed to be fun.
She's trying to encourage me. She's doing a terrible job of it.
Whatever. Let's just get this over with. And this time, don't mention Morgan. If nobody here likes her, then you're probably better off not bringing her up.
I can see that she wants to say something, probably argue, but then she deflates and nods.
Okay, no Morgan.
She was quiet for a moment, staring off into the town. She takes a deep breath and sighs, visibly relaxing. She starts to lead the way, not looking back at me. I feel a sharp pang of guilt as I stare at her back. I had promised to try, and here I am again, making everything worse.
Tara.
She stops in place.
Sorry. Again. Really.
She spells a bit sadly, but shrugs.
I get it, Mads. We're cool. Let's go. And there's a lot more Terranormal in our future.
Tara and Maddie exchange a small smile before continuing their march on. Okay. I really would like to continue, but I'm really tired. So I shall... Yeah, I shall save here, make sure we're fully saved. Go to load, boom, there's our save, cool. Saved, I'm not gonna fucking lose all my progress. I'm really tired and I've got college in the morning, so I'm gonna head off. Thanks for everyone that showed up. Way more people showed up than usual. That's very pog. I hope you guys come see the rest of us. Good night. Bye.